Hello, I'm Marguerite Leblanc with the Leaders Kitchen.
And I'm Nancy Forrester, the Executive Director of the National EFT Training Institute.
In this brief presentation, we're sharing with you the structure of a 1-hour presentation titled Mental Health, Innovative Strategies for Results.
Mhm. We've got three main bullet points that we would like to cover in this brief video. And the first one is about actually the extent of the problem as it exists in mental health right now.
Yeah, so what we know from a recent study published on April 6th, 2020, is that 81% of Canadians are saying that their mental health is negatively affected right now. And that study was published by Morneau Chappelle.
Mhm. And those issues are showing up in various ways with employees, showing up as an increase in the symptoms of mental health issues, emotional symptoms like anxiety, depression, but also showing up in addictions, an increase in addictions, whether that's external addictions, various forms. And the other place it's showing up is in relationship, particularly in the level of conflict that's happening between people, both at home and in the workplace. And so we know this issue is very serious right now. We also know that these issues in mental health are going to get exacerbated over the next little while as we find our way through the current crisis.
Mhm. So that was the first point. And the second point is that we're taking a trauma informed approach to this because we know that in any crisis, there's an underlying trauma factor.
Yeah.
And so we're never without trauma. And what happens during a crisis is that not only is the current level of trauma, be that big or small, showing up, it's also having emerged old traumas and old patterns. And those come into play in our defensive behaviors.
Yeah, what actually happens is that trauma is stored in the body. Trauma is not in the external events. So trauma is a body-based reaction that as we uh, respond to the crises as they're existing now, the body moves into its defensive reactions. That would be its fight, flight, and freeze reactions. Uh, and so it's important that we begin to take a body-based approach. That's what it means to have a trauma-informed approach, is that we actually bring the body into the conversation. So
Mhm.
that leads to our third bullet point, which is really about what we bring to the table, which is different in the mental health field.
Mhm. And these are the innovative strategies that we bring forward that actually allow to integrate the mental portion, the emotional portion, the body-based portion in a way that helps us to process so that we can be more intentional as we're more regulated. We can be more intentional in our behavior and less defensive. So the depth and frequency of our defensive reactions decreases when we're able to regulate ourselves and support the regulation of others.
Yeah, and so we actually become more present then in the moment and more available for the kind of interactions, both with ourselves but with other people, that are going to be helpful rather than harmful. And so on our presentation, it's going to be an engaging presentation in the sense that it's interactive, and so we'll be bringing some practical hands-on strategies right in the moment and inviting the attendees to engage in these strategies with us so they have an experience of actually coming into a more regulated space in their nervous system right in the time that we spend together.
Mhm. And these practices that will engage the audience with, they can take away and use again, and use with their people, use with their C-suite, use with the executive team, their leadership team, the people who are experiencing survival stress at home with their spouses, their children, wherever they are, they can transfer these skills that they'll learn and practice today and apply them elsewhere to support those relationships and more constructive responses under stress.
Exactly. So we're really excited to offer this presentation to you. Thanks.